COVID-19 cases are continuing to rise across much of the United States as the summer travel season is in full swing. With different vaccination rules for different ages, and some parents are waiting for vaccines for children under the age of 5, how do we stay up to date with vaccines to protect us from serious illness, hospitalization, or even worse? Today, Dr. Jamie Fergie is here to help us keep your youngins safe. So, thank you for being with us, Dr. Fergie.
Well, it is a pleasure, really. Thank you so much.
All right, why is it important for parents to get their children vaccinated and boosted?
Well, first of all, I want to say this is great news. And it is important because the children can get sick with COVID. And I think we need to remind parents of this. And they remind them that about 20,000 young children have been so far hospitalized with COVID-19 during this pandemic, and that about 200 have died with this. Therefore, COVID is now one of the leading causes of death in young children. Therefore, it is important to prevent this illness. It is important to prevent the hospitalization, the millions of illnesses, and the death. Not only that, by preventing the illness, the acute infection, you prevent the so-called the long COVID, when they have symptoms that linger for weeks and weeks of malaise and fatigue. And it just makes it difficult for children to go back to their normal self. And also, if that was not enough, we also see in the hospital the complication of COVID-19 in children called the multi-system inflammatory syndrome. So they get an inflammation that is very severe that require to go to the hospital intensive care unit. So multiple reasons to get your child vaccinated, and it's great that we finally can do it.
Parents are presently awaiting authorization for vaccines in children under 5. So what do parents need to know now?
Well, now that the vaccine has received authorization down to 6 months of age, what I want them to know is that the vaccines are very safe. The vaccine have been studied extensively, that we have a lot of experience with these vaccines. I personally participated in the clinical trial that led to the authorization of one of these vaccines. The side effects of these vaccines are very limited, they are very common, and the parents know the side effects of some of the vaccines they have given their children for years. Some swelling at the site of injection, some pain, some redness, fever that is short-lived, 1 or 2 days. That's it, and the benefits are really enormous. So the decision should be an easy one. I understand parents sometimes are concerned, but the decision should be an easy one. When you put the risk benefits, it really favors giving the vaccine for everybody 6 months of age and over.
If a child has had COVID, do they still need to get vaccinated?
Even if your child had COVID, it still is important for she or for him to be vaccinated, because unfortunately, you can get COVID-19 more than once. And if you had COVID and you get vaccine, you are really well protected from a future infection. And remember, we are seeing all these variants, so the more vaccine you have received, the better you are, and the less likely it's going to be you're going to get sick with COVID.
So will current vaccines be effective against new variants and subvariants?
So current vaccines are effective in preventing the more severe complications, are effective in preventing the hospitalization, the emergency room visit, the death, of course, even with the new variants. You can still get a respiratory infection. Your child can still get a respiratory infection, even if vaccinated. But really, the most important part of this is that with variants, the vaccine still prevents the severe complication. That's what you want to prevent. You want to prevent your child from having to go to the emergency room, from being hospitalized, going to intensive care, and of course, from dying.
So what does the future look like with COVID? Will we need to get vaccine boosters every year, just like the flu shots?
Well, we don't know yet, but it certainly is looking like a strong possibility. And I think that time will tell, but it is possible that we may get a booster every year with a slightly different COVID vaccine, like we have done with the flu for decades. So it is a possibility. I cannot tell you for sure what is going to happen. We are certainly prepared for the possibility of having to do boosters routinely.
Thank you for being with us today, Doctor. Where can we go for more information?
Well, thank you, first of all, for having me here today with you. And if anybody wants to find out more information, I want them to go to vaccines.gov, vaccine.gov, where they can find detailed information about vaccines, where to get the vaccine, where they can find information about the scheduling, about the benefits of the vaccine.
Thank you.
Thank you.